What's going on, guys? Good morning. My name is Ryan Spath. I'm a local realtor and investor with Keller Williams here in Boise, Idaho. And on today's video, I'm going to break down what a house hack numbers would actually look like. And in this one, I also want to consider that the investor or purchaser is going to move out in 2 to 4 years after this acquisition. And we want to make sure that the rents cover the mortgage. So we're gonna go a little bit deeper after we first identify a property and run through the numbers that we have been on the previous videos. So let's dive in, guys. So as I've mentioned previously, homes.com, this is my favorite site to go to. You can pull a lot more data on here than some of the other sites. So it's already typed in Ada County on the filters. For sale, obviously, and then we're just going to click the multifamily, which has already been clicked. We're going to see there's 39. Looks like some of these are up to $1 million or more. So for this example, we're going to assume that we're a college student and we want to be a little bit closer to this part of town over here on the bench or downtown Boise. Here we go. Let's see what this one's talking about. Great rental income opportunity on the Boise bench. Great location, close to the freeway. Okay. So yeah, this will be a good example. So this guy's $499. And we're going to assume that we're going to use an FHA loan. These guys, you can put as little as 3.5% down. So we're just going to plug this into our investment cash flow breakdown sheet. We're going to assume a 5.5% interest rate. So let's see what else we can extract from this listing to plug into our sheet, you guys. So this is saying the taxes are $4,067. And I just know from helping clients in this area, the insurance is going to be probably closer to $1,000, but we'll just say $1,200 just to have a higher estimate. Let's see if we're getting any information on what they're currently getting for the rents. Okay, here we go. So it's 2 units. The total actual rent is $29.75. So it looks like they're getting about $1,500 a unit. Obviously, we are going to live in this first unit, and this unit is occupied. Obviously, if they're getting that much in rent, and with an FHA loan, we have to intend to occupy this one. And I've helped a client in a similar scenario where both units were occupied. We have a couple options. Obviously, if we were serious about this, we would want to get in touch with the listing agent and understand what the current leases look like for the tenants. Oftentimes, some of these properties in the valley, the current occupants are on a month-to-month lease, meaning that, so for instance, today is January 14th. If we gave them a 30-day notice, obviously they could pay rent on February and then they would have to be out March 1st, and you would be satisfying the needs of an FHA loan that you would be occupying the property within 60 days of close. So these occupied properties are definitely an option to purchase. You just need to understand the rules of the FHA and be working with someone that has experience with this and can help guide you in getting the current tenants out, which that's something that I do have experience with, and I'd love to help you. So diving back in this, so we know that we're going to put 3.5% down. We're going to assume that our rate's going to be 5.5. So here in the valley, we're seeing properties are sitting a little bit longer. We're seeing on average properties are giving up about 2%. The list to sold ratio is 98%, meaning there's either a 2% discount of the price or 2% towards concessions. So we're just going to assume that we're going to use those concessions to help with some of these closing costs and help buy the rate down. So we're actually more than likely not even going to have to pay this $12,475 to acquire this asset. It's only going to cost about $17,400. Yes, you are going to have to pay for an appraisal out of pocket. Yes, you are going to have to pay for an inspection out of pocket. So you're going to have to come out of pocket an additional $800 to $1,500, kind of depending on what's going on there. So let's continue. Let's dive back into this, you guys. So we buy this for $499. We know that both sides are getting almost $1,500. We're going to assume that they're on a month-to-month lease. We can acquire this property and get one of the tenants to move out, and we're going to get almost $1,500 from the current occupant. So when we look on our pro forma over here, we can see that this is going to cost us about $2,000 a month. So we're gonna back this out for this instance, and we're gonna say, hey, look, I'm a young person. I'm willing to mow the lawn, so I'm gonna assume that there's gonna be no lawn care. We're not gonna cover any of the utilities. Let's read and see if we can get any more information about this. If this is an actual conventional duplex or if it's a non-conforming. I'm not seeing anything. Let's see if the photos are giving us any indication. Some of these older homes, it's just been a house and the people convert them into a duplex, which that very well may be the case with this one. It's hard to say without getting inside of it. And the reason this is important, if it has 1 meter and you have to cover the utilities, it's going to be a totally different scenario than if it's metered separately for the electric and water, and you can have that burden go onto your tenants. So without knowing, we're just going to assume that it is separate and we're not going to cover any of this stuff. So you can see with the rent, if we were to purchase this and put $17,465 down, let's remember we're going to get the closing costs covered, hopefully in the form of concessions. So this property, it's going to cost us just under $1,700 to live in, which is pretty solid. So if I'm a younger person, maybe I'm in college, my parents are going to help me with this first acquisition, or I'm a young professional, I'm used to having roommates, I could easily rent this other room out. Let's say I'm going to rent a room out in my unit for $800 because these are 2 ones. Now all of a sudden my housing obligations drops to under $900 plus utilities. So let's dig a little bit deeper, you guys. Let's say I'm in college or I'm a young professional and I purchase this and my intent is to stack these, meaning I want to buy one of these every few years. And the objective now is to purchase these and have them perform and cover themselves once I move out. So let's see if this guy would do that. So for this, we're going to dig a little bit deeper. So we've seen the photos. We kind of see the condition this is in. Looks like it has some LVP floor. Looks like it has window units. Looks like it's in decent condition overall, right? So let's see what we could get for rents if it was improved a little bit. I'm going to go to Rent-A-Meter. I'm going to just take this address and plug it in there and see what Rent-A-Meter is talking about. Let's say I want to get $1,650 for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Whoops. Okay. So we're a little bit above average at that 1650. So what we would want to do is look at some of these higher priced ones and kind of see where they're at. So for this, I'm going to go to Zillow and I'm just going to pull these addresses and try to look and compare my property that we're considering purchasing to the property and what the rent got. Okay, so this one, this is quite a bit nicer. You can see it's got really nice kitchen, nice backsplash, great countertops, some brick here. Oh, this is an apartment building, huh? Okay. Yeah, with the pool, so it's got amenities. So they're getting $1635 for this guy. What is this one? Okay, so this is kind of more what we're going up against. Looks like a little 2-1 house. Not really. It's clean and cute. Nothing too great about it. And on this one, they're getting $1795. Okay. So let's see what else we've got going on here. Yeah, so that $1650 may be a bit of a reach. So we may be kind of top of market for what we're getting at the 1500. So let's dive back in over here. Okay, so let's just assume it's been 2 years and our rents go up nominally a couple bucks, and let's say we're able to get $1575 aside. Okay. And now we come over here to our pro forma. We're going to want to assume there's going to be a little bit of a vacancy. Here in Ada County, it's about 4%. Management's going to be anywhere from 6 to 8%, right? So the lawn, it's going to be $40 a cut. You're only going to do it 8 to 9 months a year. So we're just going to say $100 a month, $1,200 a year. Utilities, we're going to push that off to the tenants, and then we're just going to say it's going to be $1,200 a year because things do happen, right? We're gonna assume that we're young and we want to learn the business, so we enjoy the self-management. We only have a couple units, and we're not going to factor this in. So we can see if we purchase this, we live in it for a couple years, and we can push the rents up to $1575. This guy doesn't cash flow. It's cash flow negative. You're going to lose about $350. Assuming we're paying for the lawn care, there's a little bit we want to consider to pay for things that happen, and assuming there's a little bit of a vacancy, and these are super rough numbers. It's actually going to be a little bit higher than this, but just to kind of give you an idea, if you were to purchase this to live in with hopes of improving the property slightly, moving out and renting it out to other people. So this one would work as a way to offset your costs while you're in school or you're a young professional. However, it's looking like, based on these numbers, after the fact, if the goal was to move out, you may not be able to cover all of your costs. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you are interested in any type of deal analyzation for this or any kind of property in the Boise area, please reach out, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. I'll be more than happy to help you do that, and I can even share this sheet with you if you found it helpful. See you next week.